So here's my face. I'm gonna tell my story on YouTube. Does that way make sure everyone knows my story, and maybe I can become one of these YouTubers, maybe. But this is my story. I'm gonna tell you it. About 18 years ago, I was introduced to Vicodin. Sorry, I'm walking down Main Street in my town. I had to get out of the house to get stuff off my mind. So I just wanted to make this quick video. It's not going to be a quick video, but it's going to be a video that talks about my past and talks about where I'm at today. So if you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, that's fine too. If you want to subscribe to me, that's okay too. This is my very first or my second video on my YouTube channel. So I'm just trying to get some followers and some subscribers to try to build my YouTube channel. It's going to be basically around hunting things, my daily life, and just anything in between I find to do. Okay, so around 18 years ago, I was introduced to Vicodin. I had no idea what Vicodin was at the time. About 30 minutes after I took the Vicodin, my pain was gone, and I had so much energy I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know how to come or go. That's how much energy I had. And sorry about the background noise too. And it was amazing how it made me feel. I was amazing. It felt amazing. So that's when I started my drug habit. I went from Vicodin, taking Vicodin for about 7 or 8 years, 9 years, to switching to heroin when pills wasn't available to me anymore, and doing heroin for a couple years, and then switching to fentanyl for a couple years before it killed me. Before it killed me a few times. So anyway, get back to my story is, I was 17 at the time. I was taking Vicodin like it was going out of style. I was taking 2 or 3 here, 2 or 3 there. And that's a day. I would buy 10 of them, and that would last me 2 or 3 days, since I wasn't addicted to them just yet. And so I was taking them with my buddies, having a good time, having all this energy, and being up and about doing things. Days when I had no energy, the only thing I had to do was snort a Vicodin, because that's how I did my Vicodin. I snorted it. So, and that gave me immediate rush, and it gave me immediately energy, out the yin yang. And that's when I started noticing that if I didn't have a pill, I was getting sick. I thought I was getting the flu. That's what I thought was happening. But then I would get a pill and the sickness would go away, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. I think I had the flu. And the pill's giving me so much energy that I don't have the flu anymore. Really, I did have the flu, but I didn't have the flu, you know what I mean? So that went on for quite a while. The day I realized I was addicted to them was I was at a gas station here in town, and my buddy pulled up. And he goes, "Hey, can you find any pills?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got 10 on me. How many do you want?" He's like, "I'll take 4. I'm like, "I can't give you 4, but I'll give you 3. He goes, "I'm super fucking sick." I'm like, "What do you mean you're sick?" He goes, "I don't have any pills, so I'm sick." I'm like, "Is that what that is?" He goes, "Yeah, if you don't have any pills and you've been taking Vicodin for a while, you start to get dope sick." And I didn't know what dope sick was. I never went through dope sickness. I never went through any of that kind of thing before in my life. So carry on, I keep getting pills, because pills were very, very plentiful at that time in that year. It's when the Florida pill mills were going on. And you could go to a doctor with just a back injury, fake a back injury, and get 180 Vicodin or 180 Percocet or 180 Roxys. And I'll get to that in a minute. So I was getting them all the time, so I didn't know I was sick off the pills. So anyway, I keep taking them, and finally one day I run out. And I called my dealer and asked him, I said, hey man, do you have any more pills? He goes, no, I'm out. I'm looking right now. I'll get back a hold of you when I find some. Well, I wasn't completely out. I had 5 left. So I took one. Then by the end of the day, I didn't have any more. I didn't save any one for the next day. I didn't think nothing of it. I didn't think I was going to get sick or nothing. The next morning, I woke up deathly sick. I was puking. I had the diarrhea. I had all kinds of pain going on. My whole body hurt. My muscles hurt that I didn't even know I had muscles there. Hurt. My bones felt like they was coming out of my body. My bones ached and felt like they were breaking. And I didn't know what I was going through, so I went to the hospital. And I said, I'm sick. And they go, you don't have the flu. You don't have any of that. I said, well, I hurt so bad all over my body. So they took my blood pressure. My blood pressure was high. And I said, my back is really fucking killing me too. Because I was in a car accident a long time ago when I was a child. So they gave me some Vicodin. They gave me 180 Vicodin tins. So I took them. And then before you know it, I needed more. So me and a couple friends of mine got in the car and went to Florida. I got me some fake papers. They got them some fake papers for the fake back injuries. And we got, I'm not kidding you one bit, I got 180 Roxys, 180 Vicodin, and 180 Percocet. We went to 3 different doctors, paid $300 for 3 prescriptions, $100 a piece. I filled them at different pharmacies down there in Florida, and we was on our way back from Florida. So we did that a few times. We run it down to Florida 4 or 5 times within like a year. And we was going down there a lot in a year. So I had all the pills I could ever want. So then the bad shit happening. The pills, you couldn't get the pills anymore. The people that always had pills started being out of the pills. So it was starting to be harder to find. You couldn't go down to Florida anymore and pay $100 for a prescription of pills anymore, because the DEA and the feds knocked down on all that shit and busted a bunch of doctors that was selling pills out of their shop, out of their practice. So that was out. So I was really deathly sick, and one of my friends had a piece of heroin. It was like this long and this big around. It was like a capsule. You know what a capsule is? It looks exactly like that. It was heroin in a capsule. He says, just do half of this and you'll be fine. Your sickness will go away. I'm like, man, I've never taken heroin before. I don't know what heroin will do to me. So eventually I was so sick that I said, fuck it, and took a little bit of heroin. And that done the same thing to me. I got the jitters, I got the energy, I got the go. I got everything I first got with the pills that I first got with the pills when I started taking pills for the first time. I got that burst of energy, that go, and that do everything that you wanted to do when you didn't have no energy and you felt like you were sick. So finally I got that sickness away from me. So I'm like, oh yeah, good going. I'm good now. So I started doing heroin a little bit here and there. Not a lot. I'd do it every now and then, and it would help me get through the sickness, and I wouldn't be sick off heroin, because I wasn't doing enough of it at the time. Like I said, I just started doing it a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, and a little bit there. The first time I did heroin was to get the sickness away from me, from being off pills, from being dope sick off pills. And I did enough heroin for a couple, 3 or 4 days so I wouldn't be sick, so I could get through the sickness of the pills. So I finally get through the sickness, and here I am thinking I'm scot-free of it. I'm not going to be sick no more. And still doing a little bit of heroin here, a little bit of heroin there, a little bit of heroin here, and a little bit of heroin there. Now I'm not doing it much. I'm doing like a line this long and about that thick. It's small line. It's a very small line of heroin. So eventually that stopped working. I had to have more. So I just did a little bit more. And before you know it, doing a little bit more, doing a little bit more, doing a little bit more. And before you know it, I was up to one button. And I was just snorting it at the time. And that was going great. I thought I was 10 foot tall and bulletproof. I thought everything was surrounded around me. I thought I was the one that was the cool kid that everyone wanted to be like. I thought I was the best thing since fried bread. I thought I was fucking amazing. And nobody could take that amazing feeling away from me. So, there I was, snorting heroin. And thinking I was the cool kid on the block. So that goes on for quite a while. A couple, 2 or 3 years go by. And my buddy goes, hey, why don't you shoot it? I said, I'm not using a needle and shooting heroin. I said, I'm not fucking doing that. He goes, man, it's the best high you've ever had. He goes, fuck snorting it. Shoot some heroin in it. Shoot some heroin. You'll love it. It's the best feeling in the world. So I blew him off for about 2 weeks. I blew him off. And finally I got tired of him peer pressuring me into it. So I finally did it. He shot me up for the first time. And I tell you what, when they say chasing the dragon, the tail of the dragon, if you watch that movie, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's called The Tail of the Dragon. But once he shot me up with heroin for the first time, I'd never felt so great in my entire life. Snorting it didn't have no touching what shooting it made me feel like. Shooting it made me feel like I was invincible. Like I couldn't be beaten. Like if someone started a fight with me, I could beat every one of them up. I could beat 10 people up, 13 people up, 15 people up at one time. That's how heroin made me feel when I shot it up for the first time. So there goes that story. I started shooting it up all the time. And I started having tracks on my arms. I started having needle marks on my arms. So I go for this job interview to get my CDLs. I got my permit finally, because I can't hardly read. I have a reading problem. I had a IEP in school. That means I was a learning disability class. But anyway, I was going to school to get my CDLs, but I had to take a drug test so I could be able to drive the semi, so I can get my permit and actually get my CDLs, my license. Well, I had to go get someone's pee from a kid, which I feel really bad for, and I got some stuff to put in my pee to make it look clean. Well, none of that worked. When I went in and gave the pee to the guy that I said was my pee, but it was really the kid's pee, wasn't hot enough. I didn't keep it hot enough, and he said, you're going to have to take it again. I'm like, why? He goes, because you should be dead right now because the temperature of your pee is only 42 degrees. So you're going to have to retake the test. So he comes in there with me, into the bathroom with me, so I take the test, so I sneakily put the stuff in there and do it. But I forgot what I was supposed to do with it was drink it. I was supposed to drink the stuff to make me pee clean. And I thought you just had to pour it into the pee to make you test clean. Which I fucked it up all the way around. So I tested positive for heroin. So they wouldn't allow me to drive the truck. So there, I'm stuck. Don't have a job. Don't have a pot to piss in. Don't have a window to throw it out of. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And there at that point in time, I was done. I was done fighting the addiction. I was done fighting everything. I got with my girlfriend. We've been together for 13 years, going on 14 years. And she has stayed beside me through all my bullshit. And she's still sticking beside me. And I praise her for it. If I was her, I'd have been gone a long time ago. But she stayed by my side, and for that I'm grateful. But it's been hell. I've been an addict for 18 years, a drug addict. I've been clean for around 8 or 9 months. I just relapsed here the other day, so I'm starting over and counting my days to be clean again and sober. I had to count my days again, starting over, all over. So anyways, I'm going to do that. But my girlfriend keeps complaining and blaming me and throwing up drugs in my face. You can't do that to a drug addict. You can't throw something up in their face that they had struggles with, that they have to take Suboxone. I have to take Suboxone for the rest of my life to help me with the cravings for heroin. And it helps me out a lot. But I also took meth too. So I was addicted to heroin and meth. So anyway, me and my girlfriend are fighting all the time. She's throwing meth up in my face, throwing heroin up in my face, throwing all this bullshit up in my face, and she expects me to just deal with it and not go out and use. Well, my number one trigger is someone putting me in blame for being on drugs. And that's not something you do to me, because that makes me relapse. That's my biggest trigger, is for someone to throw drugs up in my face. And she does it constantly, all the time, day after day after day after day. And now she's starting to go put an order of protection on me, or 30 days notice to get out of her house. She's taking me away from my son. The only thing that I actually care about in this world is my son, Odin. He's 10 years old. And he doesn't want his dad to be taken away from him. But she doesn't care. She only thinks about herself. But also, I went to prison back in 2018 for theft and burglary. I was with a girl at the time, and she was stealing money from the restaurant that she was working at, because they put the money into the freezer at night. They didn't take it to the bank at nighttime like all the other restaurants do. So she was taking $100 here, $100 there, $200 here, $300 there, and at one time she took $800, the whole purse. She took the whole purse at one time. And then we was pawning her beer steins that she told me her dad gave her to her before he died. And I thought she told me that they were hers. So we're pawning these beer steins, and we're getting $400 or $500 out of each tote of beer steins. So we're getting a lot of money out of these beer steins. And there's small ones, there's medium ones, and then the big ones. The big ones could go for up to $200 or $300 for just one big one. And we were selling them all the time. Like, she had a full basement of those beer steins, and we cleaned it completely out. And then she started not getting dope anymore. My drug dealer stopped selling her drugs because she was acting weird. She was taking her car and being gone for a long period of time, wasn't telling me where she was at, doing something stupid, and she would come back with the drugs. So I wouldn't worry about where she was at. I didn't care where she was at. As long as she brought back drugs, I was okay with wherever she was at. And at the time, I didn't give a fuck how she got the drugs. I don't care if she was, doing stuff with a man to get the drugs or not. I didn't care at the time, because I was fully engulfed in my addiction. So at that point, I was just wanting drugs at that point. I drove around all the time looking for drugs with her. I would have $400 or $500 on me, and I'd buy $300 or $400 worth of heroin and about $100 or $200 worth of meth at a time. So we'd have drugs all the time. But then the money started running low. She has a trust fund, so she got some money out of her trust fund. Her dad died and left the farm to her and her sister. And that farm gets rented out every year from another farmer to plant corn and beans on every year. And they get a commission off what the profit is, what the profit brings off the field, and he has to pay to be on the field. So she gets a check every year for around $500,000 or $750,000 a year, every year for that farm. Her and her sister. So they had to split the profits. So one time she got her uncle to let her have $3,500, $3,500. So we went to St. Louis, Missouri, and went down there and bought $1,000 worth of heroin and $1,000 worth of meth. And we come back and we sold a bunch of it. We made a bunch of money, and we kept going down to St. Louis all the time and buying heroin and meth and bringing it back and selling it. Well, she started acting funny again and wasn't getting money anymore. The money dried up, and she dried up. She started complaining that I don't want to do this anymore. I want to have my son back, and I can understand she wanted her son back. She had her son taken away from her because she was on drugs. So I was okay with that. I'm like, if you want to go and take your car and go get your son and be with your son, then go do that. I'm fine with that. But that's not what she really did. What she did was contacted the police, and her mom and the cops have already been on me already because I stole a chainsaw out of the back of my uncle's truck, and I pawned it at the pawn shop near where I live, and the cops found it. So the cops were already watching me at this point. Luckily, they didn't catch me with no drugs. I want to point that out. They never caught me with any drugs, ever. Besides one time when I sold one Vicodin to a buddy, and they caught me with one pill because I ate 10 of them. I didn't get caught with the 10. But anyway, get back to my story. She contacted the police and told the police everything. She told them that I stole her beer steins out of her basement. She said I stole her money out of her trust fund. She said I stole $3,500 off of her that we went and bought drugs with, me and her both. And she ratted me out. So one day we was coming back from Peoria, Illinois. I live in Illinois, if you haven't guessed. And I kept seeing people follow me. She's like, no, you're just high on meth. I'm like, no, I'm not. I haven't done a shot yet. Eventually, I do a shot of meth and a shot of heroin, but that's beside the point. I already knew the cops were following me. The Whitehall cops followed me all the way up to Jacksonville, to Springfield, all the way up to Peoria, Illinois, and then followed me back. I went and got $50 from my dad, and my dad knew they was following me, but didn't tell me. He said, just be careful and have a safe day. And my dad never tells me that shit. So I was already suspicious at that point too. So anyway, get back to my story. The cops follow me. I go to my buddies and get 10 pills. I take 5 of them. I take 8 of them and store 2 of them. Right there at that point in time. So I didn't have anything on me when I walked out of the house. And before I walked to the house, I seen a cop sitting down at the end of my road, and the other cop sitting down at the end of my other side of the road. So I'm like, what's going on? She's like, nothing's going on. Let's go. And we was at my house at the time. I'm like, no, I'm not leaving. Don't you see the cops are down there at the end of the road? And she said, yeah, but they're not for us. Come on, they're not for us. Let's just go. I'm like, no, I'm not leaving. So she goes, well, fine, I'm fucking leaving then. Well, my stupid ass got in the car with her, and before you know it, the Whitehall cops was behind us, pulling us over, and then wanting to search the car. Which, they searched the car and didn't find nothing, but that's not the point. The point is that when they caught me, they arrested me and arrested her, let me out of my own recognizance, let her out on her own recognizance, let us out for free, basically. And then she went up to the police station and was up there for like 4 or 5 hours talking to the cops alone. So I was like, what the fuck's going on? And I went up to get her and she wasn't ready yet. So I'm like, there's something going on here. And I want to know the truth. Are you snitching on me? And she wouldn't text me back. So after she was in the police department for 4 or 5 hours, she come out and said, I got to go to my mom and dad's house and you can't come with me. Well, about 6 days later, I'm walking down the road and I get stopped by the popo and arrested for this bullshit.